Here, just a number of attacks here that we will look at. So this is the second half against STA. Decent ball movement here. Can we just looking for opportunities where we can take less touches? Good little reverse pass here to get through. Another good ball. And this is where I was talking earlier about Yassine, having a tendency to play one direction. Abel's definitely on here for a ball. And I think Billy's out here in the space that if we get this ball to Abel can then attack the wide right space. But Yassine turns to the left, or to his right, to the left side of the field, and we lose possession. There's one touch pass here. As the ball comes into the forward, you saw earlier when Jet did it, and Yassine has done it as well, that ball has to be played. Now again, the players off the ball need to do a better job, I think, of communicating that, with their movement, with their hand signals, and with their communication. But Yassine has a tendency to use his left foot, and obviously he's left-footed, and want to use his inside of his foot to turn towards, turn up field. And I think he had an opportunity there, similar to the one where he could have played Jack against TSF, to play Abel here to get us out the other side of the field. We lose possession, but we're onto it quickly and get good pressure on it, good ball into space. Initially I thought Daniel was going to serve this ball immediately, but he does a good job of cutting back. This is nearly a goal, right? Billy gets a stronger head on the ball. It's a good cross. Maybe the defender put him off a little bit by flicking it, but it's a good ball in the area. Abel's able to run onto it. Tyler's able to run onto it. You can see the weak side runners, right? The outside forward, the attacking midfielder on the weak side, and the outside back. Those three players are attacking the other side of the field while, in this case, Daniel Yassine and probably Cam is in the behind this play. And probably Jack or Ethan is in the gap behind it. Those four players on that half of the field are looking to service these three players on the weak side. So as it plays through, good ball in the box, nearly scores it. We save it and here, work it around. A little bit more patience. We're trying to, I think, kind of force the ball here. That's pretty tough to do while you're running backwards, serve a ball into the box. But putting pressure, nonetheless, on them. We're able to pick the ball up here. And at this moment, I was thinking, he could maybe turn and shoot, or he can play Yassine, I think, for a give and go. I think he's a little bit off balance here, trying to hit this ball. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a shot. But little give and go, right? You were getting pushed down there. Might have been on, but decent effort. And we can pick up the pieces. Rafael does a good job here of keeping the ball. Can we play quicker? There's Ethan's open, right, to receive the ball. Less touches, right? Can we do a little bit quicker? We turn away from the play. Right, Jack's not ready to switch a point of attack here. Ball into him, back to Rafael, right, into the spaces, or turning this direction for Ethan to run in behind. I think it was on for us. If he had turned, towards left, Ethan could have run in behind in this space, and he could have slipped a pass right around there. Right, had he turned left instead of right. Okay, I think there was an opportunity for us to go the other direction. He faces up, which is not a bad idea, but the space is so tight. He's looking to play Yassine here that it gets cut out. We do a decent job. The reaction is good, right? But this is the part where I think we could do better as a defender. There's only one forward here. Jake doesn't need to drop off and let him play and let him turn. And this becomes a little bit dangerous. They're able to play a ball over top of us. Tyler's there to cover. But had Tyler not been there, it would have been, Ethan would have had to chase after this. This could have been a dangerous ball. This is a defensive positioning. We have all of their players except for this forward are up. We can press that. We can force them to play backwards. We can force them to, not let him turn and force him back and away from our goal. We don't let him turn easily and serve a ball into our area. But we recover. Good job by Tyler to get back in time. And we play between the lines. Bad first touch, unfortunately, leads him, into pressure. The right idea to attack the space, but just a heavy touch, causes this tough tackle here. And that's what happens when you take a long touch. It allows players to hit you. And we were talking about that with Ethan earlier. You take a bad touch, right, and that allows players to, the opportunity to step up and tackle you. Good play here. We pick up the pieces again. They don't have the ball for very long. We're attacking spaces. We're looking up, trying to find something, but we're patient. Probably could have played across the field here. We're kind of closed-minded. I think you can actually see Ethan pointing, sort of, to play the ball back, right? Abel's on for the switch, and we have to think across the field. And it might have seen Billy here in the space, but it's tight and there's nothing that comes of it. We get a throw in. We'll fast forward a little bit. This is an injury. Good movement by Yassine, right? He checked short, go long. Good first touch. Fights for the ball. Good play overall. He's looking around for options. Good little reverse pass underneath. Again, good little pass by Daniel. Same type of ball. Just needs a better cross, right? There's players running in the box. Look how many numbers we have here. And this is the difference, if you remember Dean's cross in the TSF game, boom, first time. Don't wait. There's space to hit this ball, even on the ground. If you want to hit the ball into space, by the time that ball gets there, Billy can probably run in and tap it, or Abel can run in. Taking a touch obviously allows more players to get in, but it also makes it harder for you can see the defender getting his leg in the way to block the cross, and it's not good enough in the end. Where we had opportunities, we had numbers, so it's just rewound it a little bit. Good little interplay here between Yassine, getting the ball to Daniel. He does the same exact thing, playing negative first and then looking to reverse the pass as they step up underneath players. And then, to me, a ball on the ground into a dangerous area. If you just hit this ball, with some curve, because he has, left-footed, into this space. I think by the time that ball travels, and it'll probably take maybe 1 second or 2 seconds, I think Billy can get there. I think Abel might be able to get there. You might not see it from these angles, but there is space for us to play. And you can see how upset I was with that cross. On this clip, you just see a good effort by Daniel, an individual effort. We'll let it play through. Good possession here out of the back again, getting the ball wide. Similar to that one dummy he made. The difference here is, he's going against, one of their backs as opposed to one of the midfielders. I think there's space for him to do this. Similar area of the field, probably 10 yards on our side, in the attacking part of the field. But we're set up that if he loses it, his positioning is not a midfielder, so there's players behind him in this case. He could have played Ethan. I think this is Ethan or Jack. As this ball comes in, because we're on, I think that's Jack now. One touch pass here to Jack into space, and we're out the other side of the field. But he decides to do 1v1, which is fine by me. It works out. We're able to now advance the ball, and there was a small opportunity here right when you cut inside, for a ball. And again, this is the goal that we scored. That Mike scored from Billy to Mike. You'll see it a little bit in the second half. This is a ball on the ground for Billy to run onto, and he probably is in on goal. But I also like the fact that he's taking players on and shooting at least, right? It's not just dribbling just to dribble. If you're going to cut inside and you're going to take the ball yourself, you got to get something out of it. I think this is a good effort. The keeper bobbles it. Maybe if we had reacted quickly, we would have got onto it, right? And you got to take your chances when you're free like this, when you beat a player. So overall, just a good individual effort. There are opportunities, as you can see, even in that sequence where you could have passed it, where Daniel could have passed it, but in the end we get a good shot on goal, and the keeper has trouble with it. Another sequence of passing that leads to a shot on goal from our throwing from the right hand side. We attack the left. Again, I know we're probably using these touches to look up, but the time to look is before the ball comes to you, right? One touch pass either to Abel for him to turn, or right back to Tyler, right? I think and then the same thing here for Tyler. All of us are, looking after we receive it, as you can see Ethan did there. Again, Tyler's receiving it, and he doesn't know that he can play into Yassine here first time. All right, this is the areas I think we can improve upon our play, is that when the ball's away from you, or the ball you've released the ball, you don't have it, that's your chance to look. So as Tyler's about to throw this ball, Ethan should be, looking. I mean, maybe he was. I can't obviously coming from out of the screen, but he looks up now and doesn't see anything. To me that means he probably didn't see Abel, and doesn't recognize that maybe Tyler has an option to Yassine. If you think that far ahead, right? I give it back to him and tell him what to do with it. That's higher level type play. So I just want to increase the speed of our play. Again, Tyler receiving the ball basically doesn't have any options, except to take 3 touches, right? He's not thinking, can I find the ball forward? And it is on for us, for a first-time ball into Yassine. That gap there, that ball into Yassine, and then one of our midfielders running off of it is on. We do the right thing here. It's not on for us to attack because it takes long. Play it back. Good first-time ball by Jake across the field, and Raphael's able to advance the ball past their forwards. And in this instance, we have them kind of pinned in, right? Their forward is the only player forward, and they're not able to get it. And we have numbers forward. Cam is in an advanced position, which is good. A little good, 1v1 play, interplay here from Daniel. I think he does the right thing here, cutting back. This is where I need more activity from Abel. Daniel, you've seen again have a good partnership, so you can see them looking for each other. But in this instance, we're kind of flat-footed and we're not. The body language doesn't look like a player that wants the ball, right? We're just standing next to our guy as the ball gets it. We're all watching him. You rarely see anybody moving their head to look, right? And so he's going to play with the players who are active, and you see he's one of the most active players, right? He's moving constantly to find the ball. Tyler is on slightly there for a split second. You probably can't see it because you're focusing on the player who's watching the play, but you can see everyone's pretty much ball watching. Even this player who's marking Tyler, these guys are all ball watching. But there's an opportunity here if Abel drops into this space. He has a good shot, draw a player out. It creates space for Billy in a 1v1. If he pulls out here, Daniel starts to dribble and he can slip a ball into Billy to Tyler, or Billy himself can turn and shoot. All right, I think there's need more activity here off the ball from our attacking midfielder in this situation. It's slightly on for a back post ball, okay, but in the end we look to play a 1-2. It's not on. Yassine does a good job here, and possibly a chance here for one more pass. Again, I'm not sure Abel's asking for this, because if he gets this ball, he now has a shooting opportunity. It causes this player to step up. You got to think about what happens when these passes go across the field, is that they got to step because Abel can shoot. And as this ball steps, he can play Billy, he can play Tyler, he can shoot himself if they don't step. Going here alone, 1v1 is not a bad effort in the end. Just wanted to highlight some of the different combination plays that can come from our wide play. Right, this is good individual effort here by Cam to get beyond, but he doesn't force anything. He looks to play in behind or into Daniel. Daniel doesn't force it. He goes backwards. It just needs more move. Only person really moving is Yassine, and obviously he gets the ball because he's moving. He's constantly looking for space. Abel hasn't taken a step in about 3 seconds. Right, he's kind of just standing, not really looking to get open. Same from our backs here. Right. Can we get ourselves in a better position to get the ball from these players? A lot of players are just ball watching. And you see the two players who are active, Daniel and Yassine, are the ones that are going to be working with each other. Right, Billy's looking for a slip ball. I think he's pointing. But again, I don't think he's really realizing that there's a defender on him. He's just looking at the ball. Tyler could have gotten this ball. Abel could have gotten this ball, and we could have maybe served the ball. If Tyler got this ball to feet, served the ball in here, or shot, he's in a position to shoot. I think if he takes a good first touch. A lot of things can happen when we have them pinned in like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All their players are basically set up on one side of the field, flat, pinned. The spaces are tight. This is an opportunity we can score. We get a decent shot, right-footed shot by Yassine, but it's high. This is another sequence that leads to a shot on goal, or at least a good effort on goal. Playing from the back. Probably use the touch there to draw players away from him, but I think we could definitely play one touch out of the back here. Don't necessarily like the casualness of this. We definitely need to move the ball quickly. We're not playing against a team that is great at pressing. Good one-time ball here by Jack, recognizing the pressure. And this ball into Yassine. Again, we need players. He's looking to turn himself, but we're so far from goal. There's not much you can do. Maybe turn it to the inside, right, and look for a ball into Abel in the gap here. But turning to the outside isn't probably the best option here. You could play a ball. I looked at this a number of times. I'm always looking for the forward to lay a ball off to an arm. A player can see the field, better. Unless you can turn up, quickly. Could you have played Billy first time for a ball for Daniel, possibly? Or Jack could have gotten in this space right here and received the ball underneath and gone across the field through Abel. Or if you did turn to the inside, right, and not into pressure, turn to the inside like you probably normally do and slip a ball in between here. I think that's what the option is for us on these type of plays. When you play from Tyler to Yassine, I'm either bouncing it out to Billy for him because he can see the field better than I am, or bouncing it back to one of the attacking midfielders, or myself if on a quick turning into the inside and looking to play across the field again. This time you turn outside and get the ball stripped, but we were able to recover. Jack's in a good spot. Does the right thing going away from pressure, which is what I like. Uses a little bit of deception here, so you probably could use a pass from, I'm always thinking, how can you pass out of the situation? Jake to Ethan, or Jake across the field. But dribbling does the same effect here. Drawing a defender, take a little stop to create space. You stop a little bit here. That's good, clever play to create space for yourself for this pass, and we break the pressure. Good turn by Ethan. Have an opportunity here again. This is what look at the spacing of our midfielders. This is great, right? We're all stretched out. It would seem like you wouldn't want to be stretched out, but when we play with one holding midfielder and he drops in deep like this, like Jack did, and Ethan's the second player playing across the field. We've done this often where we play from midfielder to midfielder to the attacking midfielder underneath the play, right? And this ball, I think there's enough space between these two defenders for Ethan to slip a ball to Abel. That's the space that we need to attack. It closes, right? And I think Abel starts to drop in, and we play wide, which is fine. Again, that's a safe play. Can we do a little bit better in terms of our passing? We're all taking extra touches, and I think it's a result of having to look after you receive. And I think he is looking here. There's a little look, and he has a tendency to look as the ball's coming to him, as opposed to, possibly a little bit sooner. Can you look now? Can you look now? Can you look now? Can you look now? And you did look there, which is good. Didn't see any first-time options, so you have to take touches, right? As we play through this, it's just risky, right? If you play against a player who's pressing you constantly, these are the moments where you probably could lose the ball because we're taking 2, 3, 4 touches. Cam does a little, play to get through, 1v1 skill. And this is just individual effort, again, by Daniel and Cam. If you're playing against players you can take on, go ahead. Now we got to know that we're looking to release the ball. You definitely get through here, and, a little bit of luck, right? The deflection comes off to you, and the defender hits it off you, and it doesn't go out of bounds. But good, you cut the ball back and looking to serve it. In this case, there's not much Tyler can do except for probably whip this with his left foot. He's not thinking, like I would if I was a forward in this situation, is that this ball comes, I'm hitting this ball with my left foot, right? The ball comes to me, I'm not going to run around the ball. And you saw earlier against TSF, not TSF, against FC Monaco, where the ball was laid back to him and into space, and he had to run around the ball to use his right foot. I think this is an opportunity where, the training with the left foot, will over time will result in just a volley here, a half volley with your left foot. Now, even in the end, you still get a decent shot on goal, but to keep that down, running around it is difficult. The other option here, as this ball was cut back, and I'm not sure how active, again, Abel is in receiving this ball, or in terms of talking. He's probably one of the quieter players in the midfield. I think if he just gets this ball to his feet, this is a sure goal because he's a great shooter, right? That ball from him on the ground, take a touch, bury it to the back post. Those were the two options. Once we did, get through here. Once we did get through here, Abel has to recognize that his player is not marking him anymore. And as Daniel cuts the ball back, screaming for that ball, right? Little ball to the back post isn't the greatest. Probably would have hit with my left here on the volley, but in the end, it's a decent effort on goal. Here's a number of passing sequences going forward. In the end, I wanted to highlight an issue we had defensively, but I'll let it play through. So decent out of the back. Ball into the forward. Just got to do a better job of chest trapping this ball, bringing it down, or having a player to play to immediately. Or we lose the ball off of that. We're working defensively to win the ball back quickly, and we do. Good pressure. It's not the greatest pressure, but it's good enough for this game, right? As the ball gets turned over, and a better team might play through here quickly, one touch, right? And one touch. And it's they make an errant pass, and they probably could have gotten through because our pressure wasn't that great, but we end up winning the ball back. We're trying to play out. We can't lose the ball here, but we do. Right? We should play a little bit simple, but you see the effort by Billy to win the ball back is good. Right? That's the type of effort we need when the ball turns over. Ethan does a good job of slowing it down. Billy's able to recover it. Again, we're not going to have those type of easy possession pressure turn into us winning the ball, but the effort on this against this team was good. Good movement of the ball. Again, I think, can we move the ball quicker? Instead of 2 touches, can we do it in 1 instead of 3 or 4? Can we do it in 2? Instead of 3 touches, can we do it in 2? Again, it's just quicker passing could lead to better things here, or at least more time on the ball when we do eventually get the ball. It's a good idea here to play this give and go. It's tight, but it's behind him. Look at the reactions are good, causing them to have to hit the ball out. We're able to we're able to put pressure on them early. not necessarily the most intelligent play. We had a small opportunity here to play as this ball comes back to Billy to play Jack out. Just first time ball, right? Instead of taking a touch, 3 touches, do it in 2. Again, just limiting the touches, thinking a little bit quicker, and we are able to get out. And because we're not, because we don't make the right decision there, or we take a long touch and the ball gets stolen, this is an area that they counterattack on us. It's 1 versus 2. But this is, I mentioned this to Raphael, or about Raphael in the TSF game. This is where we need to be stronger. We can't just let them push us off the ball. All right, we're stronger and bigger than this. I think we overrun the ball. Jake runs past it. The player puts a little shove in his back, and that's enough to get him off of it. This is a danger, and this is a good, a chance for them. 1 versus 2, turns into a shot on goal. Luckily, Cam's there to block it, but we need to be stronger. Back him up, shield the ball. You're not trying to make a play on the ball as much as you are trying to make a play on the player to prevent him from getting the ball. You don't necessarily need to control it right away. Use your body, and a ball into space. This is a goal. This is me. This is a faster player, for example. Cam isn't able to get back and stop it. This kid was faster. That's a tap-in goal. And again, you can see Raphael not reading the bounce well. Not getting his body position, and he lets the ball bounce over him. And this is near. To me, I'm yelling for a PK if this was my player. Right? He doesn't win the ball. He knocks the player over. This is dangerous for us. That's a PK. I would be yelling and screaming for a PK. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, they don't call it. Again, sloppy play out of the back. I don't think we need to dribble here. Tyler's wide open. Right? Let's get the ball moving as opposed to just dribbling. Don't panic in these situations. Dribble yourself into pressure. Just give it to the players and open up the field. Do a decent job at least. A little bit knock-on type of play. Just get it forward type of play and ends up going out of bounds. But I think, you highlight a number of different small things that can be fixed in terms of our possession going forward, in terms of playing quicker, less touches on the ball. Instead of 4 touches, can we do it in 3 or 2? And limiting that extra touch to prepare the ball requires vision, requires communication, it requires, players moving early and talking. And then when the ball did turn over eventually, we need to be much more physical in our body position and using our arms and using our body to get in between the defender and the ball, or the attackers and the ball, so we prevent an attack. Simply could have gotten out of those 2 areas where Raphael and Jake had issues by a little bit more physical play. Here's the plays leading up to our first goal by Jack. I'll let it play through. We win this. We don't win the first ball, but we're on to the second one, which is good reading by Daniel. And I paused it here when I first was looking at this, because again, the tendency for Yassine to go to his left as opposed to his right. All the players are set up to mark Daniel. Okay, the space is wide here as his ball, and I think this is where I would say put a little bit more onus on Billy to be vocal, loud, and screaming for this ball at the top of your lungs, because if you get this ball, I think you're on a 1v1 to goal. And you could obviously, cut the ball back to Daniel if you need to. Now, good interplay here. The only thing I don't like about this is that we turn into pressure. Yassine's looking to get this ball back. So he cuts out of it, which is good. Plays, give it back to him, and then you spin out into space. If Daniel could lay this ball back and then work in the angles underneath the play or on the other side of the defenders. But, bulldozing your way through will work if you're bigger and stronger or get lucky. Good effort there to get a quick snapshot. Once you do decide to obviously turn into pressure, the best thing you could do here is to try to get a shot off, which I like. But the fact that you turn into pressure and try to force your way through, not necessarily the greatest decision. Same here from Yassine. Not many other options except to maybe to work the ball around. But both of you guys are kind of playing 1 versus 2 type ball, which is low percentage. It's probably, if you get through, it's not very likely that you will get through. Yassine does a good job here opening up the field. I think if we just receive the ball, let the ball roll across your body and go the other direction, then again, the mentality is they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players basically keying on you guys. And you can even include this player 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 3. We need to just let the ball, instead of receiving to your right here, receive the ball going in a negative space. You do a decent job of getting through, actually, because you try to meg them, but there's another player there. This is the case. This is what happens when you try to take on more than one player at a time, and they're on you. And I think we do a better job in this situation of just working the ball around the grid, around in an umbrella fashion. Let the ball roll across your body and go the other direction. We fight for the ball here. At least you don't give up on it. The play, good tackle. We're working the ball, and eventually we do work the ball backwards. The defender actually helps us do it because I think you're still trying to attack. And this is where I got on Ethan earlier. Abel is looking here. I think he takes one look, right? And as this ball comes to him, and you see Ethan there looking as well, this is where we just need to let the ball roll, right? You see Garrett do this often where he doesn't touch the ball at all, lets the ball, and don't touch it here. If you just let the ball roll across your body and run after it, I think we can get out the other side of the field. Now we look to play on the near side again, which is where they're set up. And this is a good pass. Initially when I saw this, I was like, we should switch a point of attack. But as I slowed it down and as this ball goes into Yassine, again, his tendency is to play to our left side of the field, use the inside of his left instead of using his right foot. But Billy is in a 1v1 situation. Jack, when he receives his ball, is going against two players. The ball, we just attacked this side of the field. We have to be thinking, I was thinking, when Abel received it, we have to be thinking, play the other side. That's my natural tendency. When the ball's going from the left, we've attacked the left side, we work the ball backwards, they're stepping. They're going to have less players on the other side of the field than they do on the near side. And the space is here as this ball comes in to play Billy as opposed to playing Jack. Now, if had the pass been to Jack and been a good ball, it might have been something that that was good or positive, but we end up losing the ball. They end up clearing their lines, but it's not a good clearance. We're in good spots. Because of our possession, we're able to hold them in for long periods of time. Tyler isn't necessarily in the best space here. I think he needs to work harder to get open and wider so that he has more time on the ball. Like he's still running out wide and looking at the ball, right? He sees the pressure. He does a good job of avoiding it, which is good. Does a good job of getting the ball to Ethan. Ethan drives into space, which is good. Number of runs off of it. Good ball into Billy. Billy doesn't waste any time, which is what I like. And taking chances of crossing is what creates this goal. Is it the best cross ever? No. Should the defender cleared it? Yes. But we don't waste any time. We don't try to take the player on. We get the ball in a dangerous area, force them to have to clear it. You're playing against defenders that are inexperienced, who don't have necessarily the 100% of the skills of a pro, right? Can't clear the ball probably with their weak foot as well as they can with their right. And even the pros at times make these mistakes. And we're in good spots to finish the ball. And that it creates a chance for us. So it's a good overall, number of things we could probably clean up there on our way to goal, but the final product is we get the ball in the area that's most dangerous for us, and we're able to score a goal. On this clip, you'll just see a good example of a switch, quick switching and a good long ball into space for a near chance for us. Good pressure by Daniel to win the ball, gets his head up, and we just won it from this area. You want to get it out. Jack knows the pressure. Good first time ball. Ethan takes 3 decent touches to get the ball wide, and Bailey's got his head up. Good ball into space over the defender. He's able to run onto it. And one of the better examples, of a good long ball into space in front of him. He's able to run onto it, and now it's a 1v1. We don't get through this time, but at least the ball is properly weighted, and it's the right, and it's accurate, and we're able to get something on it and nearly score. On this clip, we see a number of sequences that lead to a shot on goal and just a number of attempts on goal, actually, which are good for us. Good individual play here to use shielding and his dribbling ability to create space for himself, which is what you want to do. You're drawing pressure. You see, get your head up. Good ball into space. I think Jack leaves it here for Billy, but the defender reads it. But the good idea, at least. We're in good spots. Brendan, great tackle to get the ball. And this is where we want to work the ball to the other side of the field. We aren't necessarily able to do it, immediately, but we end up doing it through Yassine. He obviously plays away from pressure. Then now they're stepping to the ball, and this is a 1v1 situation. This is exactly what we're looking for. Little 1v1 move, far post shot. It went near post, but maybe a far post shot. We have players in good spots here to win this. Win the second ball. We nearly score on that rebound by Eric. Players in good spots here again. We're getting that first, that ball out. They're not able to clear their lines. Good little interplay here between Brendan and Yassine. Doesn't necessarily work off, but we're putting him under pressure immediately. All right, not letting him play out easily. Trying to get over him here with a little individual play, not bad. And we're able to, we win the ball, we go the other way again. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, this is probably the critical moment here. Dean's looking for a give and go. And I think it's perfectly on for us to get this ball back to him. but we're looking to turn ourselves when we could have played in. We got good numbers, right? Let's look to play with the players who are advancing up the field, and we give the ball away cheaply, I think. And when we were in a good spot, and that because of that, we cause players like Brendan and Tyler and Dean and Cam to have to chase back to recover. We do a good job of slowing the play down and stopping it. Good recovery by Dean. And we play negatively. We play the way we're facing. I think we do a better job of opening up Jake, but we have plenty of time and space. They're in gaps, right? They're not pressing properly. There's a huge line right here of players. There's a line right here of players, and there's enough space for us to play, and we do. We take our space here. We have 4 players working, this side of the field, and that's basically a position that we want to be in. Good ball in here. Eric does a good job of playing away from pressure. It's not on to switch yet. All right. And this is a moment here. We've seen this before. We cut in, a little bit longer of a pass because Billy's on. You got to realize that the defender's going to move, right? Probably 5 or 6 yards. So the ball has to be about, 10 yards further than it is. So instead of bouncing right here, it needs to bounce, probably in this space. But a good effort at least. And it puts pressure on them immediately. They have to be pinned in their area. So again, just a good number of examples where we play quickly, we switch a point of attack, we attack the space, we get shots off, we're playing balls on the diagonal. Overall, every player's doing their job except for maybe that one instance where we probably could have played a give and go to continue our sequencing to attack. But overall, it's a good play from us. Just another chance for them because of our poor play out of the back. Really just decision making by Rafael in this case. Try to force the ball when we probably have options. He wins the ball here. Typically, you want to play the way you're facing. You might have seen that the forward's running back, but there's plenty of space for you to play this ball back. We turn out of the pressure, which is fine by me. But you have a simple passing sequence here from Dean to, I think this is Ethan, and we're out. Instead, you try to force the ball to, I think, Jack. Instead of playing simply, we're trying to force the ball. We just want it. This is play simple. We don't do it. And really, they're able to counterattack. We have players in advanced positions. We lose the ball. We're not able to stop the play immediately. And if this player, just lobbed Tony, it's set up for a lob. The ball's bouncing. Tony's coming out. All he has to do here is chip him. Right? This is a goal. If I was the forward here, I would have just chipped Tony. The ball comes in. Good ball, diagonal ball into space. Tony can't get to it. He's in no man's land. He's the first to it. Brendan can't get there. Right? He had been advanced up the field looking to play. And we lost the ball, and this is what happens when we lose the ball. They get chances on going. Even the shot here, Tony does a good job of getting his body in the way, but even the shot could have gotten past him. But I think had he had chipped him, that was a goal, right? And that's resulting from our lack of possession or at least decision making. Again, you see we just won the ball, and we're looking to force the ball upfield. I think we can do a better job in these situations to prevent them from having attacks. We cannot lose the ball in our area. We need to understand that it's much more urgent play, much more confident, safer play in the final third. Our defensive third has to be a priority, right? We cannot lose the ball, otherwise, that you're going to give up chances on goal. And just about every chance that has happened to us in this tournament, and a lot of chances over the season, have resulted from usually is loss of possession in our defensive third or our middle third. Typically, if we're moving the ball well in those areas, and it does happen that we lose the ball, but it's unforced errors that I'm really trying to stamp out. And if we can eliminate 1 or 2 or 3 of those per game, we probably have an even greater chance of winning these games. So that's why I'm going to highlight mistakes that are made, and how to improve upon them in the back. Usually, it's the player is trying to force the issue, right? Doesn't see the pressure well. The players around him are ball watching. Right, these are the characteristics that I've seen so far where it causes us to play the wrong pass. Right, players aren't talking, players aren't thinking through the situation fast enough, and then obviously the quality of the passes have to improve. But very rarely is it a technical error. It's usually a decision-making error that causes us to lose the ball in a bad area, and then obviously it creates problems for us because we're in an attacking style, we're in an attacking formation, our shape is spread out. And it's in those transition moments that we give up opportunities. Here's another good example of attacking, a good possession. I think we had a number of opportunities here to score. Good long ball. honestly. Run onto it, win that. We can't win the first ball, win the second ball. Good reactions from Billy here to realize where the defender is going to hit this ball to next. He's not, able to clear his lines. Good reaction by Billy. This is where I got on. I think Daniel in the first half when this ball comes across to Eric. I'm thinking first time shot. Right, the ball comes to him. It's a pace that he can hit. Might have thought to, maybe slip a past to Jet, but I think Eric has a good shot. Hit that first time, boom, around the defender using a little bit of spin, or even through the defender, just taking a chance. It might deflect off of him, but taking a touch, closes the angles for us. We do a decent job of at least keeping possession. It's a good pass by Eric to Billy. Billy trying to take a 1v1. Good by Brendan. Little dip move again. He likes to do and get in behind. And this is no nonsense by Billy. Take his player on, get a cross off. That's what I'm looking for, and it's nearly there for Mike. It's a good run. Had he started a fraction of a second earlier, possibly right around here, instead of waiting, the body language is Billy's going 1v1. He takes a long touch. That's when we have to run, or at least take a chance to make a runner and run in the box. And had he done that, he probably would have gotten there before the keeper. But overall, it's a good position to be in. That's the type of run I want from our forwards across the goalkeeper. If you're, in the position to do this, get across to the goalkeeper, a little flick of a header, and that's in the back of the net. Again, good by Billy. We've already scored one goal off a cross. All right, let's not waste any time. Get the ball in the box again. Mike's bigger than this kid. All right, taller than him. All right, he can win this ball in the air if it was to him, but not. He keeps on his run and nearly gets it. So just highlighting two different areas where we probably could have scored a goal. All right, good by Billy to pick up the pieces. And as he cuts across the field, he plays a ball that I think is enough for him to hit first time. Or if you wanted to be, super cheeky, as this comes to him, he either slips the ball to Jet, right, or one more pass out to Mike, who can hit the ball first time. Those are the secondary options I just saw as I'm watching this again. But he elects to take a touch, at least keeps possession, which is fine by me. Billy tries to take a player on 1v1, and it ends up being a good cross in the end for Mike. All right, in this clip, you'll see I wanted to highlight really just the service by, I think, Jet to Eric here, where we had an opportunity to probably lead the player with the pass, and which would have resulted in a goal. We ended up hitting the ball a bit short. And in general, I've been highlighting areas where either our service is short, our service isn't in the right space. We're not reading where players are going to be running to next, and this is just another example of that. Good ball, good play by Billy here. We're on the break. Good Jack brings in the pressure and releases it to Jet, and really, as you can see, that ball goes in the box. The only reason why this defender is able to get to this is because it's behind him, behind Eric. Right? You see him having to stop to recover to basically to get to the ball. And I think had we played a ball into space right around here, just curve a ball into this space right here, Eric can just sprint onto it. We had to recognize where you want the ball to be when he's done his run, and I think we're hitting the ball where he is standing right now a lot of times. I think we're cutting it right back to his feet as opposed to playing the ball into space. I think it's just another example of the type of balls that we have. Opportunities and ideas are good. The ideas are good and the opportunities are there. But we're just failing to see the space that is there to hit the ball into, and the weight of the pass, and all that factors into us not basically getting a goal here. Because we're on a counterattack. It's 1v1 in the box. He's in, basically, if you just curve a ball into space, and it'll be a good first-time shot on goal. So just want to improve upon these type of balls, right, so they don't get cut out. Well, this is the clip of their chance on goal late in the game, and I've highlighted it before. I just wanted to really point out the effort level and just the understanding of the players who are in right now. And I've talked about it in previous examples where in TSF we're not understanding, we're up a goal or up 2 goals, what the priorities are. And here, I've seen Jet. I've seen in an example earlier. I think we saw Eric. I've seen Eric and Jet press harder than this. All right. The effort level isn't necessarily there for me. We're jogging, and now he tries to kind of sort of turns it up. Had we pressed this ball with the right amount of speed, I think we would have stopped service here. On top of that, obviously the second part of this is, both Jack and Ethan are just ball watching. They're not aware of the players who are available or who are open behind them. They're not marking anybody, it should be a clear sign that somebody's open right? If you're not marking anybody in the midfield, there's something's wrong, probably, because it's man for man, basically, man zone. But your players around you, there should be somebody around you in the midfield. We don't recognize it. We're just watching the ball carrier. And this ball gets in, and it's a good interplay by them. They dummy, turn. No one's stepping to it. There's our players stepping to it, but they're late. Right? We don't recognize the danger, and we get lucky. I mean, it hits both posts and goes out of bounds. This is literally probably 2 minutes left in the game or 3 minutes left in the game, and had they scored this, we're having to go to overtime. Right? We need to do a better job of recognizing, the situation. We need to have the mindset when we're in these late games, or late in the game, and we're up, that we need to close the game out. The defensive responsibilities have to be better. We need to be in tuned, and everyone needs to be engaged. We need to all be communicating, right? Raphael, Brendan, Jake, all these guys here, 1, 2, 3, should be screaming at you guys, at the midfielders, Jack and Ethan, to mark. That's what the pros do, right? If there's players open, you got to communicate it, right? And the effort, obviously, by the forwards have to improve, right? I think we could do a better job by Jet, but even if Jet had gotten there and this ball is played in, these players are open. And again, turn, hit, you allow them all that time, hits the post, inside of the post, hits both inside the post and bounce out, fortunately for us. So I just wanted to highlight the areas where we need to improve, especially understanding the game situation, right? We have players coming in off the bench, their first minutes probably of this half, you've probably been in for about 10 or 15 minutes or so, and the attitude and the effort level, especially as the game is starting to wind down, has to be, I need to kill this game off, right? Defensively be strong, drop in and defend in numbers. Possession has to be good out of the bag. Maybe play into the corners, right? Take your time on throw-ins. All those things factor into slowing them down, right? And slowing their attacks down and making it hard for them to come back. And if we do that, a lot of these games are going to be tight, 1-0 games. We have to recognize that when we're up, we have to protect that lead. And so I think we did a poor job here of just recognizing the situation, first of all, and then the effort level isn't there. Obviously, in terms of the tactical understanding, it's just the vision isn't there, the communication isn't there, and they get a quality shot on goal. Well, this clip is right after the last clip. The ball goes out of bounds, and this is the ensuing play basically, and it's really this long ball, long ball that leads to a good counterattack or a good attack. We don't win the first ball. We do a good job of winning that second ball. One touch. 2 touches. We're playing quickly through the midfield. We get the ball wide, and it's one of our runs that we constantly make, right? A diagonal ball in behind, Mike finishes it off. And it's a good play overall, right? We pick up the pieces in the midfield, play quickly, one touch. You're not necessarily maybe trying to play that, but good improvisation by Eric and Jack. Get the ball wide. That's usually the start of our attacks. Cut across them, and it's obvious. Jet's running away from the play. He's drawing his defender, right? Playing Jet in this position isn't advantageous to us because he has a defender and he's running away from goal. Right, the best he could do here is probably turn back and play the ball. He might be able to muscle his way through, but probably not. Mike is definitely the option here into space. We've seen this a number of times now, and it's a perfectly weighted ball into his front foot. He's able to receive in 2 touches and score. Perfect play from us in terms of how we like to play from across the field to the weak side, and it ends up sealing the game for us.